They say the quickest way to uncover a person's true character is to observe how they treat someone they believe has no power. In a society where people are often judged at first glance by clothes, by cars, by status, the quiet truth is that real strength hides beneath the surface. And sometimes it only takes a moment of humility to expose how shallow our assumptions can be. Marcus Hale understood this more than most. He wasn't born into privilege. He was a man who had clawed his way up from almost nothing, building his business with persistence, sweat, and the belief that kindness mattered just as much as success. Over the years, he transformed a single pushcart on a busy Atlanta street corner into a well-known chain of coffee shops, each one designed to feel less like a business and more like a safe place for the community. Hale Brews wasn't just about caffeine, it was about connection, about offering second chances to people who needed them, about treating everyone who walked through the door with dignity. But lately, something had shifted. Complaints whispered through the grapevine. Customers mentioned curt staff, unfriendly faces, and a cold atmosphere replacing what used to be warmth. Marcus couldn't ignore it. His gut told him something was wrong. He had been so wrapped up in expansion meetings, investor calls, and growth strategies that he had stopped seeing what was happening on the ground. The very heart of his dream was slipping through his fingers. And that morning, he decided it was time to face the truth. He dressed down deliberately, faded jeans, a plain hoodie, an old baseball cap pulled low. No expensive watches, no polished car. He wanted to walk into his own shop not as the boss, but as just another customer. Pulling up outside the flagship cafe on Peachtree Street, he took a deep breath. The morning air was filled with the rich scent of roasted beans and fresh pastries. The sidewalks pulsed with life, students with backpacks, professionals in sharp suits, and the endless mix of people that made up Atlanta. From the outside, everything looked perfect, but Marcus felt a heaviness in his chest, a quiet chill that told him he was about to uncover something he might not like. With that thought, he pushed open the glass door and stepped inside. The place buzzed with the morning rush. People shifted impatiently in line, their eyes glued to their phones, while others tapped laptops or whispered across tables. The chalkboard menu glowed under soft lights, advertising blends with names inspired by Marcus's own journey, like Mama's Sunrise, a tribute to his mother. But despite the familiar smells and sights, the warmth he had once felt in this space was gone. No one greeted him as he entered. The baristas behind the counter barely noticed the customers piling in. Marcus joined the queue quietly, keeping his head down. A woman in a blazer ahead of him got a quick smile, but when it was his turn, the barista hardly looked up. Her tone was flat, mechanical, as if she were doing him a favor by taking his order. He asked for a simple black coffee. She mumbled the price, tapped the register, and moved on without another word. Marcus stood to the side, waiting for his drink. He felt invisible. Around him, the energy of the shop seemed off. Customers sighed impatiently. One man in a suit kept checking his watch, and a student in the corner slumped over her books, waiting too long for her order. Marcus's chest tightened. This was not the coffee house he had built. When his cup was finally set on the counter, there was no smile, no warmth, just a half-hearted here tossed in his direction. The lid was loose, the drink lukewarm. As he held the cup, his eyes drifted to the staff photo on the wall where his own smiling face still hung. None of the staff connected the man in the photo with the man in the hoodie standing quietly among them. He took a sip, but the bitterness in the cup wasn't nearly as sharp as the bitterness in his heart. The heart of the shop was slipping away, and Marcus knew it. His mother's words echoed like a steady drumbeat in his mind. You can't plant a garden and then forget to water it. Growth demands care. That truth weighed on him as he sat in his car across from Hale Brews, the name glowing faintly on the shop front. The coffee in his hand had gone cold, bitter against his tongue, but he barely noticed. His focus was on the notebook resting on the dashboard, a growing list of names scribbled in thick black ink: Jada, Corey, Lena. He needed more than whispers, more than fleeting impressions. If he wanted the full truth, he had to observe, to listen, and to understand what had taken root inside his cafe. Through the wide glass windows, he watched life play out. Customers came and went, some smiling, others rushing, a few leaving without the warmth he had once promised them. A delivery driver carried trays of steaming cups out to his van, his face lit up with a grin. Inside, he spotted Lena briefly, calm and steady, carrying crates of milk toward the back. Marcus respected her composure, admired her loyalty. Yet loyalty alone could not heal a fractured culture. He had to look deeper. Slipping from his car, Marcus pulled his hoodie tighter and walked toward the alley. The back of the shop told a different story. The camera didn't reach this far. Only a dented dumpster and a back door held open with a brick marked a space. From inside, the scent of cigars drifted into the cool air, carried alongside voices. Marcus leaned against the wall, hidden in shadow, and listened. Corey's voice cut through first, sharp, dismissive. Lena's too soft, always protecting the boss like he's some saint. A laugh followed. Jada. She thinks she's family just because she's been here forever. Marcus probably doesn't even know her last name. Each word stung. Marcus's jaw tightened as he jotted their remarks down, every syllable proof of the rot festering in silence. But then a softer voice joined the mix. Jamal, his first hire, a man who had been given a chance when no one else would offer one. Y'all talk too much. Lena's right. This place gave me a shot. I won't forget that. Corey sneered back. You're just scared of losing hours. But Jamal didn't flinch. I'm not scared. I'm grateful. You should try it. His words cut through the air with quiet conviction. Then the footsteps faded, voices trailing away. Marcus leaned back, exhaling. Not everyone had lost sight of the shop's purpose. There were still embers worth fanning into flame. Yet his mother's lesson whispered again, you can't lead from the shadows, son. He had been too absent, too comfortable letting systems manage people. It was time to step in. He pulled out his phone, thumbs steady as he typed. Team meeting tomorrow. 8 a.m. mandatory. No exceptions. He pressed send. No emojis, no explanations. Let them sit with the weight of it. That night, Marcus avoided his usual comforts and booked a modest motel near the park. Alone, he flipped through his notes, tracing patterns in the complaints he had gathered. Customers dismissed based on appearances. Resentment over program hires, people like Jamal given a second chance. His absence cited again and again as the reason for their decline. A familiar doubt clawed at him. Had he failed his people, or had they failed him? But then a mentor's words surfaced in his memory. Leadership isn't about being liked. It's about being present. Marcus tightened his resolve. The morning meeting wouldn't be about punishments or swift firings. Not yet. It would be about truth, about confronting what was broken, and about planting the seeds for something stronger. When dawn broke, the air felt crisp, like a fresh page waiting for ink. At 7:45 a.m., Marcus arrived, not in disguise, but in his true form. Charcoal gray slacks, a crisp white shirt, polished loafers. The man his staff should recognize as their leader. He parked in the back lot, watching each arrival. Lena was first, unlocking the front door with calm precision. Jamal followed, coffee thermos in hand, ready to work. Then came Jada and Corey, strolling in late, laughter spilling from their phones. At 8:02, Marcus stepped inside. Conversations died. Heads turned. Recognition flashed in Lena's eyes, and she gave a respectful nod. Jamal straightened, his smile faint but certain. Jada and Corey froze, color draining from their faces. The room fell silent. The full staff, around a dozen, gathered awkwardly near the counter. Marcus cleared his throat, his presence commanding but calm. Good morning, he began. His voice was steady, unhurried. I won't keep you long, but we need to talk. Eyes avoided his, guilt simmering just beneath the surface. Marcus looked at each of them. This place was never just about coffee. It was about respect, hard work, and community. That's why I named it after my mother, Hale. She taught me that dignity matters more than money. And yesterday I stood right there. He pointed to the exact spot where he had ordered in disguise. I asked for a coffee. Nobody recognized me. That's fine. But what I heard, that's what cuts. A ripple went through the staff. Corey shifted uneasily. Jada looked down at the floor. I heard talk about me not caring, about how people from the program are a problem, about how certain customers aren't worth serving. That's not just disrespectful to me, it's poison to everything this shop stands for. The room hung heavy with silence. Finally, Jamal spoke, his voice carrying quiet conviction. Not all of us feel that way, Mr. Hale. Marcus nodded. I know, people like Lena, like you, haven't forgotten the vision. But those words, those attitudes, spread like rot. And they end now. His tone shifted, firm yet measured. Here's what's going to change. Monthly check-ins. I'll be here twice a week. Real training, not just how to make coffee, but how to serve people with respect. Every customer, every time. That's the standard. Murmurs rose, some tentative nods, some stiff shoulders. Marcus's eyes locked on Corey and Jada. You too, back office, now. They followed, heads low, the door clicking shut behind them. Marcus leaned against the desk, steady but unyielding. Tell me honestly, what does this place mean to you? Jada exhaled shakily. It's a job, I didn't mean. Corey cut in. We were venting. You weren't around. Felt like it didn't matter. Marcus's gaze hardened. Venting doesn't excuse mocking the mission or judging customers. This shop exists to give chances, not to strip people of dignity. Remember that. Jada's voice cracked. I was frustrated. Frustration doesn't justify disrespect, Marcus replied. You both get one chance. Prove you belong here by how you act, not what you say. Relief flickered in their faces. They nodded, subdued but chastened. Back in the main room, the tension lingered, but something else began to stir: accountability. Marcus clapped once. We open in 30 minutes. Let's make it count. That day, he didn't hide in shadows or scribble from afar. He stood by the espresso machine, watching with sharp eyes, noting small changes. Lena moved with calm authority, Jamal mentored patiently, and even Jada and Corey, though stiff, tried to adjust. It wasn't perfect, but it was a beginning. By closing time, Marcus gathered them again. His words were clear, his tone steady. This isn't about punishment. It's about choice. If you want to stay, you commit fully to respect, to service, to this vision. If you want out, no shame. You'll leave with pay and a letter. But if you remain, you show up with heart. One by one, decisions were made. Some hesitated, some stood tall, but by the end of the night, the future of Hale Brews had shifted. Marcus could see it in their faces, in their posture, in the energy of the room. The garden had been watered again. And as he pinned a customer's handwritten note, "Feels like home again," to the corkboard beside his mother's smiling photo, Marcus whispered quietly, "We're back, Mama." The cafe wasn't flawless, but it was alive again.